right, well, welcome to the Sports Guys. Another great edition for you guys tonight. We are just off an incredible trip to Norway. You can see my Norway hat I got on here. We are still kind of in jet lag mode, but really, really happy about the trip. We'll be coming to you guys very soon with our podcast about the Norway trip and showing you all the photos and videos. So how you doing, Robbie?
I'm doing great. What a trip that was. We had an awesome time. Feels like we haven't been here in a minute doing a episode, but we had such a good time. Beautiful trip, amazing country, and it lived up to the hype. That's for sure. It's good to be back, though.
Absolutely incredible. Good to be back. We had the best trip ever. It was just truly stupendous, is what I would say about that country. But tonight, we're going to get into our part 4 of this incredible series that Rob thought about some months ago. And this is part 3 of the Strange but Cool Sports series. And the first 3 episodes we did in this series, we got a lot of great feedback from you guys. Really, really happy about how much you guys liked it. And we've had a lot of fun doing the research. And so we said, well, it's time to do part 4. So tonight, we've got a bonus sport we put on the end, and we're going to have 16 total sports we're going to review with you guys from all around the world. So, Robbie, what do you think about this series? It was your brainchild, how it's come together, and now we're already at part 4.
I mean, it's better than I could have dreamt up. I definitely enjoyed the idea when it just popped in there. But I think that we've had some pretty cool moments with this, not only the research side, but doing the episodes. There's been some shout outs on radio broadcasts around. There's been a lot of feedback. So it's been cool hearing from people. Interesting to watch how countries deal with different challenges and different aspects of their life and their culture mixed into grabbing a ball and running with something, or, throwing a dead goat into a goal, or, whatever. We've had a lot of fun putting it together. We love travel, so it's interesting to see different cultures at work and watching their little brains going crazy and thinking up new ways of challenging themselves. And that's what this has always been all about, is presenting that to you. And we have a good time doing it. So we look forward to this episode, and then hopefully there'll be several more.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we look forward to you guys. This is the kind of episode you really should drop us a lot of comments for. Tell us which sport you think is strange, which sport you may think is cool, which one you would actually try, something that gets you excited, and one maybe just funny that you want to comment on. So we look forward to you guys doing so. And again, you guys gave us such great feedback on the last 3 parts of this series.
Another thing that's interesting is sometimes people will take 2 sports and combine them, and I think that's interesting, because you're trying to figure out what conversations led to that. And sometimes it's obvious 2 things go together, and then other times, when you're being chased by a bull, I'm not sure who thought of that, but we'll see, so.
It's been pretty cool. We even had the local sports station pick up our part 2 of this series and talked about it on the air. So
yeah,
the reaction has been fantastic, and we look forward to hearing what you guys think about these 16 sports we're about to go over. So,
and there's one sport, cheese rolling, that I've actually been kind of keeping an eye on. And this year they had a tremendous race where a guy went flipping, and really they had quite a recap of it this year. So it was kind of fun to watch, because we knew a little something about it.
Some of the injuries that those people get, it's really pretty incredible. Broken collarbones.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The one flip that got all this attention this year, I don't see how that guy lived. Like,
it's true.
That's how hard he went. So,
well, let's go ahead and dive into our 16 strange but cool sports for this episode, part 4. Here we go. All right, this is our part 4, strange but cool sports from around the world. And this is our episode 66, Robbie, if you can believe it. And again, we want to make sure you guys answer the question, would you try this for each of these sports? So definitely drop us a comment on each of them. So let's go ahead and get into number 1. Number 1 is extreme ironing. This is from the United Kingdom. Extreme ironing is a sport where people iron clothing in remote, unusual, and often dangerous locations, combining the task of ironing with the thrills of extreme outdoor activity. Extreme ironing involves carrying ironing boards and irons to locations not typically associated with laundry, such as mountaintops, forests, underwater, or even participating in other extreme sports like skiing or climbing. Competitions often judge participants on their ability to iron well under challenging conditions, as well as their creativity in finding unusual locations and situations. The next X Games in 2026 is planning to include the unusual competition as a exhibition sport, which is going to be pretty cool to watch. The sport originated in the UK in the late 1990s and now has spread internationally, and there's competitions in 50 plus countries around the world. So, Robbie, your thoughts on extreme ironing? What do you think of this sport?
I mean, I don't like ironing in general, so I think it's creative. It's interesting. Obviously, the mountain climbing guy there, he's doing it sideways, and the person on the big board. I mean, it would be impossible on a hang glider. So I don't know how that even works.
He's going down a river. Yeah, the hang glider. I guess you have to have one person as the ironing board and one person doing the ironing, right?
I guess, yeah, you iron on the guy's back. I don't know.
Pretty much.
But
So I think this is extremely creative. It's really funny. It's definitely strange.
Yeah.
It is cool. It has a cool element to it.
I think it's cool.
I don't think anywhere but the United Kingdom would create something like this. They have
just strange and funny enough to be British.
You could see like Monty Python doing a skit about this.
Yeah.
So is this something you would try?
I mean, I'd try it, but I don't like ironing in general.
Yeah. I would definitely try it. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. I'm not scared of it. It'd be hilarious.
Carrying an ironing board up to the top of a mountain, though, that'd be kind of challenging with a piece of clothing.
Just put it under your arm. Fold
doing
it up.
And doing it underwater seems a little impossible. I don't know how you do that, but I think this is fun. This is great and creative. So I would definitely try it, especially for a competition. So let's go take a look at it.
Even on the back of a cow. As career and family commitments took over, Shaw gave up his hobby. But he is now back in training, with his long-suffering wife Starch running through woods in southern England as they gear up for fresh challenges.
I'd almost forget how people respond to it. And sometimes they just look confused, other times they laugh, other times they ignore you. But it's always fun just to see how people respond to it. And, at the end of the day, it's a bit of fun and people enjoy it.
In 2002, Shaw and a group of friends won the first and only Extreme Ironing World Championships in Germany, and they took the sport on a tour of the United States 2 years later. So who knows? With Steam's comeback, there might be another tour to look forward to.
I love how it said that he was an extreme ironer, like he was some kind of athlete.
Yeah, so silly.
What do you think, man?
I love it.
I think it's great.
We need more of this in life.
We do. I will say that about the Brits. They have a really great sense of humor. I really like it.
Normally.
Although you see, if you look in his eyes and his wife's eyes, they take it really seriously. Like it's a real sport. So, and there are competitions, 50 different countries. So I don't know. Maybe an Olympic sport. We'll see. All right, let's look at the next one. This is caber tossing from Scotland. Caber tossing is a Scottish athletic event where competitors toss a large tapered log called a caber. The goal is to toss the caber end over end so that it lands in line with the tosser's original direction. Competitors are judged on how closely the caber lands to the 12 o'clock position on an imaginary clock face on the ground. The participants have to wear kilts while participating in this sport. Caber's heavy tapered log, typically made of Scottish pine, ranging from 16 to 22 feet long and weighing between 100 and 180 pounds. The tosser picks up the caber, balancing it upright while holding the small end, and then they run forward to build momentum and then heave the caber upward and over, flipping it end over end. You can see a picture there on the bottom right, what it looks like when you actually flip it. So thoughts about this Scottish sport, caber tossing?
Seems like so difficult, and that thing is heavy.
Look at the guy's arms.
I know. They've got to be powerhouses.
And your legs have to be really strong because you got to run underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't this seem like something Scotland would do as part of like their Highland Games? That kind of thing?
It doesn't look that hard, but when you think about that weight, and the clumsiness of it being a long object. That'd be a lot harder than you think.
Imagine a bunch of Scottish guys laying around with logs, and they're like, let's
Yeah.
see who can chuck it the furthest and do it
Let's
end
try
over
this. Yeah.
end. And let's do it in our kilts.
Yeah, we're going to Scotland next year, and we're definitely gonna check this sport out.
We got to see what this is all about for sure. This is one of the sports when you go to a real Scottish Highland Games, they've got about 16 or 17 different sports, and this is one of them. It's caber tossing. So we'll definitely have to check it out. So is this something you would try?
Yeah. I want to wear a kilt, and I want to throw something that's, extremely heavy, and see if I can make it flip over at least once.
I don't know if I could do the kilt, but I would do everything else. I would
I'd
definitely
do the kilt, but I don't know if I could get that thing into the air.
You can see on the left there, it's kind of interesting that they have this rule that you have to try to get it to land in the 12 o'clock position or close to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get dinged if it goes sideways one way or the other and not close to 12. So that's a whole nother kind of aspect of it that makes it even more difficult. Not only do you have to get it to flip all the way over, but get it to land in that position. So there's some real skill to this, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not just brute force.
No, it's a combination of force and skill and technique.
So I would try it if they would let me do it with regular shorts. Because I don't know about the kilt, but I do not think I could toss a caber that's 180 pounds in that direction. I don't think I could actually do that.
It'd be so hard.
Mad respect for these guys. So yeah, we will definitely check this out next year when we go to Scotland. Let's go ahead and take a look at.
Look at the size of that thing. That was good. There you go.
So isn't that a lot harder than it looks? Like,
yeah.
It looks like, first of all, just the ability to get it up and get it against, and you only have this part of your shoulder to stabilize it, or else it's going to go off one way or the other. So just the ability to lift it and get it against your shoulder and stabilize it, that's hard. And then the ability to move with it and try to get some running going.
Get some momentum forward.
Yeah. You think you could lift it?
And then probably not.
Up against your shoulder?
No. So
that is a great Scottish sport. I like that. I'd like to see that live, see what that looks like. So if you were really good at that and you were kind of the champion, you'd be the guy who could do that kind of in that perfect technique, I guess you could say. So guys, drop us a comment. What do you think of caber tossing from Scotland? Whether it's something you'd try. All right, next one is out of Norway. Of course, we've just been back from Norway. We did not see this while we were there, but this is called death diving, or also they call it dudsing. It's an extreme sport where individuals jump from high platforms in a horizontal, often X-shaped position before tucking into a ball or shrimp position just before they hit the water. The sport includes both classic style, focusing on X-pose and tuck, and freestyle version with added tricks and poses in the air. So divers will typically jump from a 10-meter platform or horizontal arms outstretched position resembling an X. Crucial element is to tuck right before the water, where the diver curls into a ball. Competitions will judge dives based on speed, air time, and complexity of the tuck and any tricks performed along the way. The sport was invented by Erling Bruno Hovden in Oslo in 1969 and now has a European International Championship every year, and it will be included in the 2026 X Games. So what are your thoughts about death diving from Norway?
It's not too surprising that it's Norway. I mean, they have a lot of water to work with. They're very daring people, extremely active people. So this sort of falls right in the category of activity that goes beyond a little bit, and the people are strong and active. So I'm not surprised that they came up with this.
I think this is really cool. I mean, you talk about the ultimate adrenaline junkie, like if you're a diver. So a couple things about these photos. The one to the left there is what the typical competition looks like from the 10-meter platform. The one in the middle is what they call freestyle death diving. You see him jumping off a building into the water. And then the one to the right is the world record. It's actually in the Guinness Book of World Records. He dove off a cliff in Norway and flew for a significant amount of time, as you can see, down into the water down below. So
that's crazy.
Would you try any of these? Would you try the platform one? Would you try the building one? Or would you try the one where it looks like sure death?
I might try the platform one because I know how deep the bottom is. The other one looks so high.
I'd probably do the building one. I'm not sure I'd do all tricks or all that. You wouldn't do that?
No, I think I would you might misjudge jumping out far enough. I don't know. I think the platform dive puts you out over the water. You know how deep it is. That's a little more controlled.
And you're an adrenaline junkie. You love this kind of stuff, but you're saying you wouldn't jump from the sky like that.
I don't know.
That looks a little crazy. Yeah. This is a pretty cool sport. Guys, drop us a comment whether you would want to take on death diving from Norway and if you would try any of these different positions. Let us know what you guys think of it. And are you excited about it being in the 2026 X Games next year? I think this is one.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch.
I would love to watch this. It'd be fantastic. Let's take a look.
Send it.
What do you think of that?
I mean, it looks fun. That looks pretty good.
And that's something you'd watch, like as part of an X Games?
Yeah. I'd like to know how the scoring system works, but.
Well, they said that you have to get the right tuck on it at the end, right? You have to get that.
Yeah.
And then
Degree
you
of
have
difficulty and all that.
degree
Yeah.
of difficulty, the height, and then how many tricks you do on the way down. So it's all different elements.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
Think it'd
pretty
be
cool.
fun.
I like that. That's a good sport. Good job, Norway.
Yep, that's why I did this. These guys in the background.
Yeah, you got the crazy diving behind you. Let's take a look at the next one. This is adult kickball from USA. This is the kids game that all of us play in school. And what's interesting is they reinvented this game, and the sport started in 1992 in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where I live. And the game has now become very important, popular sport that brings lots of creativity and fun for adults. It's exploding in popularity, especially in the 35 and under demographic. It's really becoming more like what we used to do with softball leagues, getting these adult kickball leagues. You can now join as a free agent and be placed on a house team or participate in a hat league where players are actually drafted to their individual teams. There's now a World Adult Kickball Association that maintains the rules, and essentially the same rules we played as kids, but with 6 full innings with a 10-person kicking lineup. There are now pushes for it to be included as an exhibition sport in the future Olympics. So thoughts about this reinvention of a kid game to an adult league that is becoming really popular, and the fact that it started in Charlotte?
Well, I think this is a game that everyone can get behind because we all played it. It was a lot of fun. You can remember the ping of that rubber ball when you kick it. I remember how fun it was to catch it and get somebody out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun game, and you can play it, a little more serious, or you could have a beer in your hand. It doesn't really matter.
Does it surprise you that it's growing and that it's starting to take over what we used to call like softball leagues? Does it surprise you that more and more adults are wanting to play it?
Not really. It's low impact. You can play co-ed.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun no matter your skill level.
It's interesting. A couple of the guys I play poker with here in the Charlotte area, they actually play on men's teams. So it's actually getting big enough where you're starting to know people who play it. So
I've seen a lot of ads for it locally where they have little leagues that get together. It's pretty fun.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I think this is a great idea. Would you try this one?
Yeah,
Be part of a league?
no doubt.
Be part of the 10-person kicking lineup?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Well, let's take a look at it. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it looks fun.
I think it'll be a blast. You think there'll be a little drinking after the game?
Yeah, during.
During.
It looks
I
fun.
think looks a lot of fun. People are trying to find ways to get together, post-COVID, do leagues, get together with each other, have social events, get some exercise. I think it's fun. Co-ed, like you said.
Yeah, co-ed, easy to arrange and organize. Not a lot of equipment needed. Looks fun, looks easy, to have a low skill level and still be enjoying it.
Why do you think they were bunning so much? Just because anytime you kick it, it's easy to get them
I
out?
think that guy was throwing a lot of spin, and it's probably hard to connect that properly.
I was trying to figure out why they weren't trying to go down the line, like down the first base line. Kick it over the first baseman's head or something.
I don't know. Put pressure on them to make the play.
It's interesting. I'd like to try that game. It'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at
dodgeball. It's the same thing.
Take a look at number 5. This is thumb wrestling from the United Kingdom. Another funny one that the UK comes up with. Thumb wrestling, of course, is a game we played as kids as well. And it's also a real and strange sport people play in many parts of the world. Players use strategies and hacks to win thumb wrestling match like any other game. The idea is to interlock your fingers and aim to pin the opponent's thumb as fast as possible to win the match. And you can see that a lot of these battles now in competitions, they actually have a little boxing ring for your thumbs.
I love it.
Yeah. So people have creativity and have designed all kinds of hilarious variations of this thumb war. There's now an organized thumb wrestling competition organization called the World Thumb Wrestling Championships, which feature specific rules, rings, and even championship titles. So what do you think about this reinvention of thumb wrestling as like a real competition?
Well, this is a lot like the other one in that everyone's done some thumb wrestling when you were little. Everyone's thumb wrestled your brother,
Yeah.
And then this just kind of makes it more serious. And I like the little board with the ring.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
Funny.
Yep. You'd have to have a really strong arm, really strong thumb to be able to pin, really quick. I'm not sure how else you could train for this other than just do it a lot. Right.
I think you could build up your thumb muscles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting.
And work on technique.
It's a creative way to come up with another sport, basically, that becomes a championship that used to be a kids' event. So let's go take a look. All right, well, let's give a shout out to our sponsor for this evening, and that's DraftKings. DraftKings being our favorite partner of the program and doing sports betting. Rob and I do a little bit of it here and there. We dabble with it. Rob, what do you think of DraftKings?
I like it a lot. I like how simple it is to use. They have frequently had good deals going. It's a fun app to use. It adds a little juice to the games. As a casual user and observer of a lot of these games, I like to just throw $10 down and enjoy it that way. It adds a little something to the game, so I enjoy it.
It is a lot of fun. It adds, like you said, that little extra something to a game when you have some money on it. You don't really care about either team. That's always a cool thing. Even like $20 on it or something.
Of course, they got the parlays. You can get as deep in as you want, and that's great. That gives you those choices. But I like to dabble in it, and it's fun. It really adds something, and especially I kind of find myself in the fall doing more. A little bit of baseball, but usually football games, I'm pretty active. So log into DraftKings.com or download the DraftKings app. Every time I do, it's just more and more sophisticated. It has so many cool features. Get yourself an account, and for your first deposit, they will match up to $200, 100%. So you just can't beat that. So if let's say you put $100 in, they'll put $100 in. So definitely take advantage of that deal today. And we'll see you guys next time. See you.
Organized thumb wrestling may seem like the kind of idea hatched after a few pints at the pub. It was probably hatched after a few pints at the pub. Yet there are some rules and regulations.
The rules of thumb wrestling: we have best of 3 rounds. There were 60-second rounds. To start the match off, we have a professional thumb ring where people put their thumbs and get a good grip. inside the ring, and then they'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare a thumb war.
1, 2, 3, 4, I declare a thumb war.
From there on, you've got 60 seconds to pin your opponent for as long as it takes to say 1, 2, 3, 4, I win the thumb war.
1, 2, 3, 4, I win the thumb war. He's won it!
In this 11th year of the championship, Paul Under the Thumb Brows triumphed over the Thumb Taker, while in the women's division, Janet Nanny Thumb Coleman beat out one Susie Thumb. That's the World Thumb Wrestling Championships, the only place where it's a good thing to be all thumbs.
That's kind of fun, right?
Yeah, I think it looked fun. I mean,
you can't really take it
grandeur with
seriously.
The little thumb ring that you put it in, but
You
yeah,
could maybe take it seriously, but when they start doing 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare a thumb war, that starts to feel a little bit less.
it's silly, but it's funny, you know?
It is funny. It seems like a pub activity, you know, that, like they said, it happened over some pints. And,
No doubt.
you know, it's still a lot of fun. I like the idea. Drop us a comment, guys, if you would try that one.
Yeah, who out there hasn't thumb wrestled before? I mean, everyone has.
I guess if you're really good at it, this is your chance to get a trophy. So, all right, our next one is a really interesting sport. I didn't ever hear of this one before, and I'm kind of a historian, and it's called Hoover-Ball. Hoover-Ball is a combination of volleyball, tennis, and medicine ball. The sport was invented by President Herbert Hoover. You can see him there in the bottom center. And his personal White House physician, Admiral Joel T. Boone, to keep President Hoover physically fit. It was once the most popular sport at the White House, played by the president, his cabinet members, court justices, and high government officials. Now a national championship each year is co-hosted by the Hoover Presidential Library Association and the city of West Branch, Iowa. Hoover-Ball was developed from a game the Navy played while they were on ships, and it was called Bull in the Ring. The ball was soft and weighed 9 pounds, and it was generally 8 to 9 feet high and 30 feet wide. Generally, the game is held in a volleyball-type grass and sand court where players throw a heavy-weight medicine ball over the net. Scoring similar to tennis and is played in a similar fashion. Server throws the ball, the opponent catches it on the fly, and immediately has to return it over the net, trying to put it where it can't be reached or returned. When the other player loses the ball or throws it out of bounds, he loses a point. So what are your thoughts about this very interesting game that combines multiple sports and was invented by one of our presidents, Hoover-Ball?
I'm trying to figure out if 9 pounds is a lot.
Well, think about when you're at the gym and you're trying to throw a medicine ball around.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it might be deceptively tiring, but I think it'd be fun to play. It'd be cool.
You can see the picture there on the White House of the president and some of his White House cabinet members and others playing it. And I think it would be very tiring after about 15, 20 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. I think over time you would start feeling a little more, you know, like, oof, this isn't as easy as it looks.
What a cool part of our history that we had a president invent a sport.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So would you try this one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Try it. Sure.
Medicine ball over the volleyball net.
No doubt.
Tennis scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, you know, way before pickleball even. So
yeah.
So guys,
it's like volleyball meets tennis, kind of.
Yeah, volleyball meets tennis meets the gym with medicine balls.
Yeah.
So let's go take a look at this one. Is that something you would try?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it looks a lot like volleyball. But yeah, you add the medicine ball in the gym element, and it looks like somebody tried to create a sport that's exercise with a purpose, you know?
You know, if you're training, that's actually a pretty good sport to play, I think. If you're like in some kind of training and trying to do your upper body, trying to build your strength.
And it doesn't look like you need a high level of skill.
No, you do have to dive a lot though. I noticed they were on the ground quite a bit.
Yeah, to play defense.
Yeah, I like that. I like Hoover-Ball.
Yeah.
Tell us, guys. Drop us a comment. Would you play Hoover-Ball? Would you check
If you're
it
a
out?
volleyball player, would this be too strange for you?
Yeah, exactly. I think it looks
Could
fun.
you get behind it?
All right, next one is out of Australia, and this does not surprise me at all. It's called Goanna pulling. The sport of Goanna pulling originated in the 19th century in Australia to honor the giant lizard native to the continent, which is the Goanna lizard. The contestants tie leather straps around their necks and mimic the reptile's posture. So you have to be on your all fours and try to pull each other across the line in a tug of war fashion. The Australian National Goanna Pulling Championships held in Woolly, Australia has been conducted since 1985. And there's different weight divisions for the men and for the women. You have lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight, etc. And there's even a junior competition division. Goanna pulling is similar to the sport kubahiki, which is neck pulling or neck wrestling. So I hadn't heard of that before. We'll have to do that in our part 5, kubahiki. It's a test of strength where a cord is looped around the neck of the two seated contestants in kubahiki. So thoughts about Goanna pulling, essentially tug of war with your neck?
It looks like you could get an injury on this one if
think?
you're against the wrong opponent. But yeah, I think it's definitely like I wouldn't want to be lined up against one of those ladies.
No, I wouldn't either. Let's just put it this way. They're very strong.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Their arms, their legs, their backs.
Yeah.
It's basically tug of war, but you can't really use your arms. Basically,
Yeah.
Yeah. So this looks like a lot of fun to watch. I would try it, but not against somebody like that. I would try to get somebody my size. Would you try it?
Yeah, probably try it until they
Goanna
pull my
pulling.
head out of the socket.
Yeah, exactly. This looks fun to me. I would like to watch it when we go down to our Australia trip one day. See what Goanna pulling is all about. Let's go take a look.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 48, 49, 50, 51, 55, 57, 58, 59,
Okay, can Wayne Phillips make it 2 in a row for Australia Championship? Yes, I can.
What do you think about going up against one of those guys?
I wouldn't think very highly of it. It would be hard.
Yeah.
I'd try this, but I wouldn't necessarily do it.
You know who'd probably be really good at it is like a rugby player because they're already built they're already built that way and they already don't have a neck basically.
Yeah, like a prop or something.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would try it, but against somebody my size. I'm not trying against one of those guys.
Yeah.
So drop us a comment, guys. What do you think of Goanna pulling? Is it something you'd like to try? This is another funny one out of the UK, Robbie. Bed racing.
Here we go.
The first bed racing contest held in North Yorkshire Town in 1965 was only open to Army, Navy, and Marines. Today, the competition is open to all. And now there's a British national competition and an international competition. They actually, by the way, Rob, have a competition now that's part of the Kentucky Derby weekend in Kentucky, which is really funny. Each team of 5 is to make a bed in line with the theme of the year. So there's actually a theme. You have to make it in line with that theme. And then you have 4 wheels, so you can also float. The 3-kilometer race has the unbelievable challenge of crossing a river too. The USA Championships are held in Mocksville, North Carolina every year, which is interesting, not too far from where I live. The event kicks off holidays with costumes, music, and prizes. There's also an event every year in part of Kentucky as part of the Kentucky Derby festivities. Bed racing is a testament to human creativity, teamwork, and the ability to find fun in unexpected places. So what are your thoughts about bed racing, this 5-person quote unquote sport? How strange is this? And would you try it?
I mean, I think it's as creative as anything we've seen. I think it's funny. I know a few people who would volunteer to be in the bed.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I like how there's a theme, and it's
You'd
very
probably
different.
want your lightest person to be up on the bed. I mean, just to be fair to the other 4 people.
Probably,
So
yeah.
they're pushing 3 kilometers, including through water. So I would think that is almost like a jockey situation. You want your lightest person there. So
Yeah, I would think.
what do you think about the creativity portion of it, where there's a theme and you have to be all dressed the same in a uniform, and you like that part of it?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah, this is fun, I think. I could see, if they had this at UVA when we were there, we would have done this as a fraternity, I think. Ben
Sure.
Grayson. All right, let's go take a look at bed racing from the United Kingdom. Here we go.
I'm not sure what I'm watching right now. In the Fun Division Championship, it was J-Town versus St. Elizabeth Catholic Charities. In the end, St. Elizabeth took the crown.
St. Elizabeth. We're glad to be a part of St. Elizabeth, and second win, so we're doing pretty good. We're going to be ready to be back next year to defend, so we're ready for it.
In the championship division, it was Full Throttle looking to defend their title against Best 1A. And Full Throttle showed why they've now won 3 straight bed races.
So we got go-karts that go about 50 miles an hour, so we learned everything about speed on those. So if you want to be fast like us, come out to Full Throttle Adrenaline Park, see us. We'll teach you everything we know, so maybe one day you can take us on out here.
So what do you think of that?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's
I
fun,
love how
right?
they can steer it. That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so that one was an indoor competition. A lot of the British ones and some of the other ones, like the North Carolina one, are outdoor competitions, including a river. There's a river portion of it. So pretty interesting. I think it's a fun sport. I think anybody could enjoy it. You can see, though, that the top competitors, they're in really good shape.
And they're serious about it.
They spend a lot of time on the bed and making the bed really quick, making those wheels really good. So
greasing the wheels up, making sure they're.
That's one I would definitely try. I think we'd have a lot of fun putting a team together.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the next one. All right, number 9 is swamp football. This is from Finland, or soccer. Swamp football is an unusual form of the game of soccer that is played in bogs or swamps. Players compete on a wet bog and compete for major tournaments on the pitch that is simply a dry, muddy field that's covered in water. Dimensions of the pitch are usually a little smaller than a normal one, so they're 60 meters long, 35 meters wide, slightly smaller than any standard field. The sport originated in Finland, where apparently it was used as an exercise activity for athletes and soldiers, as playing in a soft bog is very physically demanding. The first organized competition was held in 1998 with 13 teams as they gathered for the Finnish championships. The event was the brainchild of Jyrki Vanhanen, who was nicknamed the Swamp Baron. The sport's very popular in Finland, Sweden, Iceland, Holland, Russia, and Brazil. Those are the 6 countries that play it the most. World Championships in swamp football is played in northern Finland and has been taking place since the year 2000. And there's no offsides in this game, which I thought was really interesting. Also, players cannot change their cleats for the duration of the game, which is you have one pair of cleats you have to do the whole time, and there's no offsides. So thoughts about this game?
It looks like kids that went in the backyard after a big rain and they don't care.
Yeah,
it looks fun.
It's incredibly physically demanding, as you'll see when we show it here in a minute.
Yeah.
These guys are just completely wiped out after just a couple minutes. Just trying to get through the mud itself is tough.
Yeah, it's incredibly big resistance that you get trying to run in mud.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the rule about you can only have one pair of cleats?
No offsides and you can't change your cleats?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Like by the end, you're done.
It's played with 13-minute halves. So it's interesting that this was originally a sport that was for the Finnish soldiers to get in shape. I could see a commander throwing all his soldiers out onto a muddy bog and say, hey, go play, let's get in shape. So is this one you would try?
For sure. I think I probably have tried it.
Yeah. In Paris when we were playing in high school, it felt like we were
there was
playing
a few tournaments there that were like this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I would definitely try this. This looks fun. I'm not sure how long I could last, but let's go show the people what it looks like.
Очень тяжело. То есть не так чисто, как для развлечения. На самом деле серьезный подход здесь.
Ну, то есть реально встаешь сразу же практически. То есть любая борьба, она сразу съедает много сил.
I think that looks like a lot of fun. Do you see how absolutely wiped out they are, though, after like 5 minutes?
They look exhausted.
They can barely move. But that looks like
that's the fun part, though.
It is. That really looks fun. I wonder how big a sport that could really become, maybe. I guess every form of soccer is so popular. So
yeah.
It does
variation.
It does feel like it's more like Finnish, Swedish, Russian. It's like that area up there. You know,
yeah.
Where it's just bad weather all the time.
Yeah.
So,
or soaking conditions.
Drop us a comment, guys. What do you think of bog football or swamp football? All right, our next one is one that I've been hearing about my entire life. I have not witnessed this. I've not been part of it, but I've seen videos of it many times. This is the running of the bulls in Spain. It's the annual running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain, and it's a highlight for the adrenaline junkie. Participants arm themselves with a pair of running shoes, a rolled-up newspaper, white cotton trousers, a shirt, and, of course, a red bandana. Apparently, you have to wear the red bandana, and a sash to attract the bulls' attention. Bulls are let loose and chase them for nearly a kilometer through the narrow streets of Pamplona to finish in a bull ring where the bulls cross the finish line. The event is held every year from July 7th through 14th, and they start the race all 7 days starting at 8 a.m., so you have multiple chances to run. This is a dangerous event. Each year, people get seriously injured or even killed. Go along and join them if you dare. The event takes place in the old part of Pamplona, running through the narrow streets of the Casco Viejo. The tradition dates back hundreds of years, originally involving butchers moving bulls through the streets. The participants who cross the finish line first before the bull wins the daily trophy. So there's 7 trophies available total during the week. Their record was by a Polish man who won 3 out of 7 of those trophies in 2005.
Wow.
So what do you think of the running of the bulls? Is it something you would try?
I just might try it. I'm not sure. I'm kind of down for it.
You think
I think it looks crazy.
You know, I think you got to be in good shape and you got to be able to run really fast.
Yeah.
I think at this age, I wouldn't do it.
To protect yourself, you'd have to.
Yeah. But in my 20s, I definitely would have tried it. 100%.
Yeah.
I would have taken my chances. I would have found a way to not be in front of a bull, though. That's for sure. So what do you think about them giving you 7 different chances to run it? I think that's kind of cool.
I think you might find yourself in a moment where you're like, what was I thinking?
Like halfway down when you look and there's 4 bulls.
How did I get here?
Yeah.
What on earth came over me? I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's strange and cool.
You have to have your insurance policy up to date. You have to have your will written out.
Yeah, pretty much.
So this is a great sport. I mean, you know, it's been going on for hundreds of years. It's something you feel like when you're a young person, maybe it's one thing you should do once in your life, potentially.
Yeah.
I did notice.
You may not be going for the trophy, but you want to participate. Yeah.
I did notice it's about literally 95% men. Barely any women do it.
Yeah, I don't know the demographics. I've always watched it. It always looked like a lot of guys, but
yeah. Let's go take a look. All right, now that you've seen it, would you do it?
I mean, I've seen it for a lot of my life. I think I might have to train for it just to make sure I ensure survival, the best chance that you can give yourself.
Did you notice that when they get close, some of the guys would just lay down towards the wall as kind of like a defensive posture? Some of the guys would just lay down.
Yeah, I think you get to a point where you have to give yourself up a little bit and just try to survive the moment and then keep going. I would definitely use that strategy when I needed to.
And then every once in a while, a guy would get bumped by one of their noses and get knocked off to the side.
I'm sure there are techniques as well. Like you want to stay away from certain spots related to the bulls. Like you want to be off the shoulder, maybe.
You don't want to get gored. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's spots, but
what do you think the bulls think this is? Like they must be confused. Like what?
I don't know. They're confused and they're angry and they're frustrated, and yeah, you don't want to mess with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a crazy activity. It makes me realize that there have been strange sports really since the beginning of man. I mean, that sport's 500 years old.
Yeah.
Started by a bunch of butchers, and now it's become a popular thing to do in Pamplona. So pretty cool. Drop us a comment, guys. Would you try running with the bulls? Would you give it a go?
Have you ever seen it live? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. What a cool tradition. All right, number 11 is a really funny one, Robbie. I had never heard of this one until I started researching this program tonight, and that is the Juggling Triathlon, which is a sport out of the United States. Even the most enthusiastic sports fans would not have heard about this one. This is an obscure sport of juggling. Simply put, the sport's a combination of juggling and triathlon. To compete in the event, you need to swuggle or swim while juggling, unijuggle or ride a unicycle while juggling, and joggle, which is to juggle while running. The race starts with the swimming leg. Athletes swim using a backstroke with both hands raised above the water, juggling a set of balls. The next is the cycling leg, in which athletes use one hand to control the bike and the other to juggle the balls. And then in some triathlons, they use a unicycle, and other ones they use a regular bike, which is interesting. The final leg's the running leg, where a set of balls can be juggled with both hands while running or just one hand. If the athletes at any point drop the balls, they have to pick it up and start juggling to continue the race again. So you can see some pictures there of some of the men and women that participate in this juggling triathlon. So what are your thoughts about this very odd, strange sport?
It's a weird combination of things, right? So I think the unicycle is a smart way to go. You have both hands.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it'd be difficult. I don't know if I could do it. It's not that I wouldn't do it. It's that I don't know if I could do it.
I don't know if I could ever be a good enough juggler to be able to swim backstroke for half a mile while juggling.
Yeah, that's what I'm
with
saying.
just my legs. You have to float the whole time.
I don't know.
The bike one I maybe could do, but I feel like you might crash. The running one might be the easiest, as long as everybody's out of the way of you. But yeah, this takes a really unique athlete, I think, to be able to do these 3 legs
Yeah.
and to be able to juggle. You
I
can
think
see
it'd
this.
be really hard to do the bicycle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I might want to control the bike with my left hand. I don't think I'd be a good unicycler. So,
Well, but juggling with one hand is difficult.
yeah. Is this something you think could become a mainstream sport, or do you think it'll always just be a oddity, obscure kind of thing?
Oddity, I think.
Oddity. Okay. Well, let's go take a look. Go take a look at it and see what people think. So, what are your thoughts about juggling triathlon?
I think it looks almost impossible.
So, wouldn't you be drowning? I think you'd be drowning.
The
out in the
swimming
ocean.
part's probably the easiest. I think driving a bike and juggling looks
with
so
cars all
hard.
around.
Yeah, on the highway with the barrier next to you.
Yeah.
I'd
Can you think
drop
of some?
every third juggle, I would drop it.
I know you have to start over. So, can you think of someone in our family who would really love that event?
Not really.
My son Ashton. He loves
he would.
odd things like that. He loves to juggle.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he'd really like that event. So drop us a comment, guys. Would you try triathlon juggling? Is that something you'd be into? And do you think it'd be fun? Let us know. All right, next one is one Rob found that was a really interesting sport.
Yeah.
We talked about how they can make something out of soccer for everybody, I guess. And this one is boxing football or boxing soccer, also out of Russia. So a different variant from the muddy bog one we looked at earlier. In Russia, there's a sport called boxing football, which combines elements of football and boxing. Players wear boxing gloves and can literally square up to fight for the ball, with some players seemingly more interested in the fighting aspect, according to YouTube. The sport has been even discussed in Russia as a way to potentially channel hooliganism into a more controlled environment, with proposals for tournaments involving fans from around the world. Boxing football is one of the newest sports in the world, but has now reached Germany and Poland. So apparently they're playing it now too. So thoughts about this very strange combination, Robbie?
I mean, it's a weird combo again. When I saw it, I thought it was hilarious. They were defending. When you go to defend like you would in soccer, you just start boxing the guy. I think it's a funny variation of soccer. It's crazy.
I notice there's very little kicking that gets done. It's mainly just
it's very little soccer and mostly boxing.
Yeah, that's right. It reminds me back to our part 1 of the series when we looked at the boxing chess.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting combination where these guys are hitting each other for 3 minutes and then playing chess for 3 minutes.
Yeah, but that was weird because that was like physical and then cerebral, This is physical and physical at the same time, but doing completely different things.
It's true. It's true. So is this something you would try?
Maybe.
I think I would try it.
I don't know. Some of these goons, I don't know.
You would want to go against some of these
They
bald
bust
Russian
your nose on
guys?
the first punch, It's like.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I'd probably try it. When I was younger, not at this age, but I think it looks kind of interesting. And does it surprise you that Germany and Poland have picked it up? It doesn't surprise me.
No, not at all.
Yeah. All right, let's go take a look at this one.
In Russia, if regular football isn't wild enough for you, you can try your hands on boxing football. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. Every player puts on boxing gloves and hold their grounds. Why bother pushing and boxing out when you can try punching your way out of it? You also can literally square up for 3 seconds to fight for the ball. Some guys, they look like they came more for the boxing than the ball. But don't worry, it's all in good fun. Once the gloves come off, it's all handshakes and smiles. Because in the end, it's not war, it's sport.
So what do you think, man? Is that gonna grow? Is it gonna become popular? What, maybe Eastern
I think I
Europe?
would do it. I think it'd be fun.
You would do it?
Yeah.
You'd square up with one of those goons?
Yeah.
Okay. Or would you be the goalie maybe?
I don't know.
I
Maybe.
wonder if you can box the goalie. You probably can't. He's probably the one guy you can't.
Maybe the
Yeah,
goalies
yeah,
fight
sure.
like in hockey.
Yeah. I like that. Guys, drop us a comment. Do you like boxing football? You think that's a good combination?
Is this going to mainstream?
Yep. We're curious. A lot of these strange sports, we don't think so, but we'll see. All right, number 13, naked rugby. And of course, it comes out of New Zealand, which is a complete rugby culture. An annual naked rugby games dubbed the Naked Rugby International has been held in chilly Dunedin, New Zealand, traditionally as an unofficial curtain raiser before a rugby test match is played in that city. There are always plenty of jokes about rugby tackles and balls, but the game is a serious competition for the players involved. The matches have been held since 2002, when a group of Dunedin students challenged visiting backpackers to a game of nude rugby. The nudebacks, they're called, are usually made up of Otago University students. The competition reached its peak in 2011 when Dunedin hosted 3 naked games alongside the city's 3 rugby matches, along with trophies for the winners. Australia, England, and France all fielded naked teams now, and more countries are coming online. And you can see the picture of the English team there. So what do you think, Robbie? Is this a niche part of rugby? Is this going to get bigger, naked rugby? I don't know.
I played rugby, and the guys I played with were touched in the head. And they would certainly do something like this.
Yeah.
There he is drinking, shooting the boot and whatever. But I don't think they'd play naked. Like
You
they
don't
do.
think?
I don't know. Like not really.
So you're not that touched?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
It seems like this is one step beyond where they would want to go, but
Does it surprise you it comes out of New Zealand?
no.
Because it's like that's all they think about is rugby.
Yeah.
It's their sport.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It
I
tracks.
think it feels like this started as a joke at a college, and they held it a bunch of years in a row, and then it started taking off, and now other countries are joining in. So it feels like a joke sport that all of a sudden has become almost like a sub-league of rugby among these countries. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it'll ever become a major part of rugby, but it's definitely growing. I mean, more and more people are playing it. So I don't know. Would you try it?
No. I'm not tackling a naked dude.
No, I'm not doing it either. No. You didn't put the H no in there. No, I'm not doing it. Sorry. We'll go take a look. By the way, this video does not have any sound, so.
They're playing barefoot. What kind of traction do you have barefoot? There's a girl playing. Interesting. I don't know, Tommy.
Oh, you think it's going to take off?
No.
Naked rugby from New Zealand?
Don't think so.
I just don't think most dudes would play it. You know, I think that you'd have to have a bunch of beers and play with like a bunch of friends or something, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it would ever be taken seriously as a sport.
Yeah, I think there are too many obstacles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, the girl playing was a little strange. I didn't see that coming. Drop us a comment, guys. Would you try naked rugby? A whole new variant of the sport. Let us know. All right, the next one is a sport called Sporthocking from Germany. And Sporthocking is known to be a mix of skateboarding and sitting down. The sport involves performing acts, which could be spinning, kicking, throwing, juggling, sliding, or slamming down on a stool at the end to show a maneuver is complete. The apparatus that is used for Sporthocking includes a colorful plastic stool with linings made of rubber. This extreme sitting sport was invented in 2007 by German brothers Michael and Steven Landschutz. They said that enthusiasts of street sports would love their stool because it's lightweight and heavy duty and allows a hocker to perform a wide range of tricks and also offers convenient sitting down positions. The goal of the stool-based sport is to perform as many tricks and as hard tricks as possible together while on their stool or in the air. You can see some great pictures from different competitions around the world. They had one as a side competition for the Paris Olympics last year in 2024. So what do you think of this kind of niche sport for these kind of people that like skateboarding and things like that?
I mean, it's pretty creative.
They can do some really cool tricks on this little stool.
Doubt.
Yeah. And they're incredibly athletic, these kids.
This is one that I haven't really seen before we did our preparation. It's not something that you see around.
That's right.
So it's got a ways to go to get the mainstream.
Yeah, a lot of these are niche in this part 4 that we're going over this particular episode, but I went back and looked at the Paris competition. It is pretty cool. I mean, it's for that kind of skateboarding type person or snowboarding type person. A lot of young people like it. And it's really big in Europe. So let's go take a look at this one.
Sporthocking is coming to SkillCon this December. This sport originated in Germany, but the idea of doing tricks and moves with stools is as old as the stool itself. Hocker is the German word for stool, so the English translation is sports stooling. At SkillCon, people who take beginning sport hawking classes will get to see the first ever combination of a sporting device and a piece of furniture. Okay, so sport hawking. Who's in charge here?
Hey, what's up? I'm TJ. This is a sport hawker, and this will be the first year ever that the sport hawker is coming to SkillCon. I'm really excited to bring it to you guys and show you what it's about. I will have a basic free workshop daily. Beginners can expect to learn juggling, basic juggles of the sport hawker, how to balance and stand in the sport hawker, basic breakdancing moves like footwork and freezes. So, hope to see you guys there. Come check it out.
Be sure to leave some extra space in your luggage, because you're going to want to make your friends who stayed home jealous and bring back some sport furniture.
What do you think of sport hawking?
It looks really hard. Definitely, if you have a background skateboarding, you're probably in good shape.
It's those kind of athletes that are skateboarders, snowboarders, breakdancers, those kind of guys. Remember, they had breaking as one of the sports in Paris Olympics as well.
Yeah.
It's that kind of athlete. You know, they're very acrobatic, very athletic. They can perform tricks in the air. Obviously, you can't be really scared. You're doing all kinds of stuff in the air that is trickery. So, really interesting sport, I think.
Yeah.
I could see the under 25 crowd really liking it.
Yeah, it's creative. It's different using a piece of furniture.
You think you could do it?
Not really.
No, I don't think so either.
Never really skateboarded, so.
Yeah. No, I don't have the kind of balance.
Skateboard, I think, could pick it up quickly.
I don't have that kind of balance. I wish I did, but.
Yeah.
All right, number 15. This is an interesting variant of tennis, the two-handed tennis sport, or two-racket tennis. It's an unusual way to play the worldwide popular game of tennis. It's been introduced by Professor Don Mueller, who's there on the bottom left. He teaches physics, including the physics of tennis. Jason Houck, who's a former Navy tennis champion, developed his two-racket technique as a way to overcome his dislike for the backhand. He sees it as a way to gain advantage at the net and potentially reduce the risk of tennis elbow. There's also now a two-racket tennis federation in Moscow, Russia, which has really picked up the sport. They love it over in Russia. And you can see a Russian woman there in the bottom center. She's apparently the Russian champion, two-racket champion. You have two backhands as well if you want to do two backhands and two forehands. Two-handed tennis is popping up all over the world, is now a very popular variant of the sport, and the world championships are now held in a different country every year. So thoughts about this variant that this Professor Don Mueller created?
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense that people are trying to get away from the backhand. I think pickleball has shown, I've seen some ambidextrous pickleball players. This is sort of a natural extension. I think I could see doing this. It'd take a lot of practice.
Two-racket tennis. You'd have to be ambidextrous, though. I don't think just anybody could do this. I'm so bad with my left hand.
I think you could get there, though.
You think?
Yeah.
I just think that you have to be at least somewhat ambidextrous to be able to do this. Because remember, you have to serve with both. You serve right-handed on one side and you serve left-handed on the other.
If you ever spent any time playing baseball and you were trying switch hitting, you could probably pick this up quickly.
Probably. Interestingly enough, in Russia, they call this sport disc tennis, which I thought was interesting. They have their own name for it. So is this something you would try?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it'd be fun. I think it just would be a lot like tennis, and you'd need to learn to use your left hand.
I think I could do okay left-handed except for the serve. I think the serve would be tough.
I think serve would be the toughest part. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I would definitely try it though. Let's go take a look.
Notice it's not impossible.
And he's giving new meaning to the word doubles when it comes to tennis.
So that's 94.
Dr. Don specializes in physics, mathematics, and computer science, and has taught as an adjunct professor at Lehman College and Fordham University in the Bronx, as well as Concordia College in Bronxville, William Patterson in New Jersey, and even the University of Pennsylvania. And with his vast experience is now taking us to school on the court by asking us to make the quantum leap into tennis by doubling down.
You don't actually have to know anything about physics to enjoy two-racket tennis. I just happen to be a physics professor who shows people why the game is a little bit better than, say, one-racket tennis.
So why is two better than one on the court?
Well, okay.
The two-racket game of tennis is just like that of traditional tennis, except that each player is equipped with two rackets. Pretty simple. Two-racket tennis is played using the same rules as the one-racket game.
What if someone hit the ball right at you? What would you do?
Oh, I got two options now.
You got two backhands, too, exactly. What about the overhead smash? You just get advantages over the one-racket game in flexibility and wingspan and so on, and more power with both sides.
I must look awesome because I feel awesome. I feel like I'm exercising both halves of my body instead of one.
To say that you can be faster with one racket, which I hear this nonsense from people. They say, oh, I can do that faster than you can. It's already here. We're here.
It was time to ask some tennis professionals what they thought of the two-racket game.
Usually when they try it, they say, hey, you know, this was easier than I thought.
I wanted to see if they thought two was better than one.
It's pretty much the same except two rackets.
Jim said he'd been playing traditional tennis almost as long as he could walk.
Does it give you more control as a player?
Yes, because I'm naturally righty, but when I picked up the racket today in my left hand, which is usually my backhand, but today it was a forehand, I got a little more of an angle on the ball.
I say neurobic tennis, right? Brush your teeth with your opposite arm. Instead of doing that, pick up another racket. Develop new neural pathways in the brain.
Heads up. See that? I should have went with my other racket.
Dara has been playing and instructing for nearly 20 years.
I actually think it's kind of cool. The serving is a little hard. A lot of people that will switch hands with the racket, and this way you don't. You have a racket in both hands.
Not only will you develop your right or your left arm have an enhanced ability, your left or right leg will start working.
It's just like anything else with tennis. Once you get out here and practice makes perfect.
What do you think, man? You think this is an advancement in the sport?
I think it's just like anything else practicing. I think there could be some advantages to having a second racket. And I do think it kind of changes the angle on some of the shots.
He's right about that. There may be a better angle. I have some friends who both in tennis and in pickleball actually switch the paddle. They actually, in mid-air, they actually switch the paddle to the other side so I can do both forehands.
Yeah.
I've seen it in both sports, tennis and pickleball. And it'd be interesting to see those people that are ambidextrous like that, if they had two paddles or two rackets, if that would help them, give them a little advantage.
I think it looks kind of fun. Give it a
The
shot.
only downside to it, I would think, is those people that like to do the two-handed backhands or the two-handed forehands. I wonder if it would mess that up a little bit by having the extra hardware.
Maybe, but those people are trying to get a little more crank onto their backhand. So if you're using your left arm and you're getting that full torque, you might not need it.
Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting, variant of tennis, and we'll see if it goes anywhere. I'll be really interested to see what happens. All right, let's take a look at our last one. All right, number 16. This is a really hilarious one, Robbie. This is the sport of curling, but using cars, and this originated in Russia, where they have lots of frozen lakes. So this is car curling or auto curling, and it's a new, unusual sport that's come out of Russia. The Ural city of Ekaterinburg hosted an exhibition competition in 2017 in which teams use cars rather than stones that are used in traditional curling. In the exhibition competition, 4 teams of 10 pushed compact Oka cars towards giant curling markings painted on the ice. There is no engine power or rooms used. The drivers steer the car towards the target while the other 9 give it a push. Similar to the real curling sport, the team closest to the center of the target wins. The cars had glass removed for safety, as well as the motors removed, so it was lighter for slide. So any thoughts about this very unusual version of curling, which, of course, I really love the sport of curling?
I think it's kind of crazy. Like,
kind of fun, right?
Yeah. Obviously, you go with the smaller car.
Would you want to be one of the drivers getting into collisions? You get into collisions all day long.
Yeah, I don't think you're hitting that hard. I just think you're missing the guy in front doing the brush, like.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you really need it with a car. Maybe you do.
I don't know. I think that takes away some of the fun. But
I think this is fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Very creative.
Different.
People like curling. They're like, what else can we do other than stones? Oh, let's do small cars. Yay. And now it's become a hit. So is this something you would try?
Yeah, I would try this.
You want to be a driver or pusher?
I'll do a driver.
I think I'd try both.
I'd try both.
Both are like, yeah. Let's check it out.
Oh my God.
Coming to the Winter Olympics very soon. Car curling. What do you think?
It's crazy.
I think it looks really fun.
I don't know. They remove all the heavy stuff, so it's a lighter shell.
You think they've had a couple of vodka shots before they start?
I think they're feeling good.
I think that looks really, really fun. Guys, drop us a comment. Would you try car curling? Is this something you'd love to do with your friends? Let us know.
That'd be one of the more fun ones.
Yeah, I agree. So, Robbie, final thoughts about the 16 sports we looked at tonight? Any ones
I don't know. Thanks for joining us on our little journey into strange but cool sports. Definitely would try some of these. Not all of them, but I think we're at a point where it's pretty obvious which ones we would stay away from. But yeah, it was fun. I hope you enjoyed it, and give us some comments.
I wish we had seen the death diving while we were in Norway. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And let us know, guys. Drop us a comment on sports we haven't covered. I've already built up 5 or 6 for a part 5 if we do one in the future. But if there's some that we're missing, let us know. Just drop us a comment and tell us about a sport you'd like us to look at.
Based on our experience of looking into these sports, there are so many out there still that we haven't touched on. Feel free to please let us bring our attention to any that you think would be fun to cover.
For sure. Guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We know we cannot thank you enough for how much you have given us patronage. You've subscribed, you've liked our videos, you've given us great feedback, and we just are amazed at the growth of the channel. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on our journey.
And have a great night, and we'll see you next time on the Sports Guys. Have a good one.
See you.